What if there's more to our world than what we see and touch? Imagine if our minds had the power to move past the boundaries of time and space, reaching places we've only dreamed about. This might sound like pure fantasy, but for Robert Monroe, it became his reality. Robert Monroe wasn't always the man known for exploring the far reaches of human consciousness. In fact, he started out as a practical, no-nonsense radio broadcasting executive. His life was all about strategy, numbers, and logic. But everything changed when he began having strange, completely unexpected experiences. One night, Monroe felt a deep, intense vibration starting from within his chest. The feeling grew stronger and stronger until he found himself hovering outside his own body, looking down at himself. He was shocked, even terrified, convinced for a moment that he might be dying. But just as quickly as he'd left his body, he snapped back to what felt normal. This wasn't a one-time event. Over the next few weeks, Monroe experienced similar episodes where he felt an almost magnetic pull lifting him out of his physical self. These experiences didn't seem like dreams or something he could just brush off. They felt incredibly real, more real than anything he'd ever encountered. Driven by both fear and curiosity, Monroe sought out doctors and psychologists, thinking they might have an explanation. Yet every expert he consulted told him he was perfectly healthy. There was no physical reason for these sensations or experiences. Rather than ignore what was happening, Monroe became increasingly fascinated. How could he, a grounded, rational businessman, be experiencing something that defied everything he thought he knew? It wasn't long before he made a choice that would change the course of his life. He decided to leave his stable corporate career behind to dedicate himself fully to studying consciousness. Monroe dove into understanding these altered states, hoping to find answers not just for himself, but for others who might experience similar phenomena. Over the next few decades, he would pioneer research that broke new ground, allowing people to tap into realms of existence beyond the physical world. His commitment to exploring what lies beyond everyday perception set the foundation for a life of discovery that would impact countless others. Monroe's strange experiences led him down a path of intense research, and over time, he developed a groundbreaking technology he called Hemi-Sync. Short for hemispheric synchronization, Hemi-Sync uses a series of sound frequencies, binaural beats, that work to bring the left and right hemispheres of the brain into harmony. Monroe believed that when the brain's two halves are in sync, people could reach altered states of consciousness more easily and safely. This wasn't just an abstract theory, it was a method he refined over years of experimentation, one designed to help anyone tap into deeper levels of awareness. Monroe didn't stop with just his own testing. He wanted solid scientific validation of Hemi-Sync's effects, so he collaborated with neurologists and researchers to measure its impact. Through EEG scans, they could see the effects of Hemi-Sync on brainwave patterns in real time. The results were clear. Subjects who used Hemi-Sync showed synchronized brain activity across both hemispheres, with patterns that matched in frequency and amplitude. This wasn't common, and the scans revealed brainwave patterns that suggested a heightened state of awareness, almost like the mind was in a peak operating mode. This moment marked a turning point in the study of consciousness, bridging the gap between personal experience and measurable science. The implications of Hemi-Sync went beyond just altered states. Those who used the technology reported tangible mental benefits, things like sharper focus, improved memory, and even bursts of creativity. Hemi-Sync appeared to support the brain in functioning at its best, helping people not only to relax but to think more clearly. Over time, practitioners noticed it also fostered a sense of mental clarity and emotional balance, with effects that lingered long after each session. This technology didn't just hint at the potential of the human mind. It opened doors for thousands of people to experience new levels of thought, self-awareness, and even personal transformation. As Robert Monroe's work with Hemi-Sync grew in recognition, it didn't go unnoticed by powerful figures. His research caught the attention of the US government, particularly the CIA, who saw potential in his methods. In the late 1970s, CIA representatives reached out to Monroe with a bold proposal. They believed his work could give the United States a strategic advantage during the Cold War and wanted to explore the use of Hemi-Sync in a classified military program that came to be known as the Gateway Process. The goal? To harness Monroe's technology for expanding consciousness in ways that could benefit intelligence operations. The Gateway Process aimed to push the boundaries of the human mind far beyond the usual physical limits. By achieving specific mental states, participants were trained to access information beyond ordinary perception. This was more than just relaxation or focus. This was an attempt to use consciousness itself as a tool to explore distant places, different timelines, or even alternate dimensions. The CIA hoped that with Monroe's methods, they could create operatives who could see into areas they couldn't physically reach. This type of exploration, known as remote viewing, became a central part of the program. Remote viewing was an attempt to gather intelligence on enemy activity or hidden locations simply through focused thought, all without physically sending anyone into dangerous territories. But the Gateway Process came with its own risks. This wasn't just a matter of learning a skill, it was an intense, sometimes overwhelming experience that required participants to mentally detach from their physical senses. Many reported strange sensations, a loss of their usual sense of self, and even bouts of confusion after their sessions. The psychological challenges were real, and without careful training, these experiences could take a toll. Monroe and his team knew that only those who were thoroughly prepared could handle the mental demands of these exercises. Extensive training was necessary to ensure participants could navigate these states safely, building the resilience needed for them to return with clear insights rather than confusion. The Gateway Process wasn't a shortcut. It was a rigorous discipline, demanding strength, focus, and a level of mental endurance that few could achieve. Commander Wayne MacDonald, a key figure in the Gateway Process, compiled a fascinating report that tried to make sense of the mechanics behind Monroe's techniques. His analysis was bold, suggesting that reality itself could be holographic, a kind of three-dimensional projection where what we experience as solid matter and time are actually part of a vast interconnected field. According to MacDonald, the human body and brain act like finely tuned energy systems that can align with natural frequencies in the environment. Specifically, he noted that the human brain's energy could resonate with the Earth's heartbeat, a frequency known as the Schumann resonance, which sits around 7.83 Hz. This alignment, he suggested, allows for a deep, almost subconscious connection to the Earth's rhythms. MacDonald's explanation went even deeper with his cosmic egg model. He proposed that the universe operates as if it's inside a massive egg-shaped structure. At the core of this egg lies a white hole, emitting matter and energy which travel along the outer shell. Time, according to MacDonald, moves in cycles as this energy flows around the cosmic egg toward the black hole at the other end, where everything is drawn back in. This model suggests that our reality isn't a straight line, but a continuous flow, curving through dimensions that are far beyond our usual perception. As consciousness taps into these cycles, it might move beyond traditional time and space, accessing other points along this path. A major element in MacDonald's theory involved the principles of resonance and harmonics. Resonance occurs when two objects or frequencies match, amplifying each other's vibrations. For example, just as a tuning fork vibrating at a certain frequency can cause another nearby fork to vibrate at the same frequency, the human brain can tune in to the Earth's natural frequency. This harmonic connection could explain how consciousness might shift or expand when aligned with the Earth's energy field. By using Hemi-Sync to create matching frequencies between brain hemispheres, Monroe's techniques may enable the brain to tap into these universal rhythms, allowing a person to perceive reality in ways that are normally out of reach. This blending of science and consciousness suggests a universe that's far more interconnected than we might imagine, where even thoughts can resonate with the heartbeat of the world itself. In his exploration of consciousness, MacDonald introduced a concept he called the absolute. This wasn't just another energy field, it was something much larger, a boundless, universal energy that transcends time and space. According to MacDonald, the absolute exists everywhere and nowhere at once, connecting every dimension in a seamless flow. It's not tied to any specific place or bound by any physical limits, making it possible for consciousness to reach beyond ordinary reality into an infinite expanse. In essence, the absolute acts as the backdrop of existence itself, where all things, visible or invisible, are connected. Monroe's Hemi-Sync technology was designed to tap into this very idea. By synchronizing the brain's left and right hemispheres, Hemi-Sync creates a mental state that aligns with the frequencies thought to connect with the absolute. When this alignment occurs, individuals may experience a momentary release from the usual restrictions of space and time, allowing them to briefly step out of our reality. This isn't an out-of-body experience in the traditional sense. Rather, it's a shift in awareness that places them closer to this universal energy field, making it possible to perceive things that lie beyond our physical dimension. MacDonald theorized that at certain points in this process, something remarkable happens. A frequency gateway opens up. This gateway isn't a physical doorway, but a specific point in the journey where consciousness reaches a vibration so attuned that it can slip into deeper levels of the absolute. At this frequency, the mind becomes like a receiver, picking up signals from beyond normal perception. Those who reach this gateway might sense other dimensions, connect with information beyond their usual grasp, or gain insights that feel timeless. This frequency gateway suggests that human consciousness, when finely tuned, has the potential to touch the edges of the universe itself, interacting with layers of reality that are usually hidden from view. The idea that the universe might operate like a hologram is one that aligns closely with both Monroe's insights and modern physics, particularly in theories like string theory. In this view, the universe isn't a solid, fixed structure, but more like a torus, a vast self-sustaining spiral that loops in on itself, shaping the reality we experience. This toroidal structure means that the universe folds back on itself in a continuous flow, creating a pattern where information and energy circulate endlessly. Just as a hologram captures a full image from any fragment, the torus suggests that every part of the universe contains information about the whole. This holographic model hints that reality is a complex projection, a three-dimensional image created from a deeper, hidden structure. One of the most intriguing ideas tied to this holographic universe is the concept of the event horizon, often discussed in the context of black holes. When an object falls into a black hole, it may vanish from our view, but, according to physics theories, its information doesn't just disappear. Instead, it's preserved on the black hole's surface or event horizon in a two-dimensional form. This phenomenon implies that the essence of everything that enters a black hole remains encoded on its edge, like an invisible record that holds on to data, even when the physical form is gone. This concept of information preservation aligns with Monroe's belief that consciousness can transcend the physical, suggesting that the core essence of our experiences and memories may be preserved beyond the limits of our material existence. These ideas carry profound implications for how we understand memory, time, and our continuous sense of self. If reality is indeed holographic, then our memories, thoughts, and even our identities might exist on multiple levels simultaneously. This means that our past experiences aren't merely confined to a single timeline. Instead, they might be accessible from various points of view, echoing through different layers of reality. Understanding this holographic nature could explain why memories sometimes feel so vivid, or why certain experiences seem to transcend time. It reshapes our perception of continuity and hints that our lives are part of a larger interconnected pattern, where every moment is both unique and woven into the fabric of a much larger whole. Out-of-body experiences, as Robert Monroe described, are more than just a feeling of floating outside oneself. They offer a glimpse into what it might be like to move beyond the limits of the physical body entirely. In these states, consciousness is free, no longer tied to flesh and bone, allowing it to travel to places and realms we might otherwise never perceive. This journey doesn't require movement in the usual sense. Instead, the mind extends itself, reaching into dimensions where information exists in different forms. For Monroe, this meant that an individual could gather knowledge, see events or places they've never physically visited, and connect with layers of reality beyond the physical. As Monroe and others explored these altered states, a surprising discovery emerged. Consciousness, once freed from the boundaries of the body, seems to gain a kind of power over reality itself. When we move into these states, the The mind doesn't just passively observe, it begins to interact with, even shape, what it perceives. In these moments, the line between imagination and creation blurs, suggesting that as we become more self-aware, we also become active participants in molding reality. This isn't far from the belief that our thoughts, intentions, and focus can have real effects on the world around us, hinting at a deep link between awareness and the fabric of existence. Interestingly, these ideas aren't entirely new. Ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians and the Mayans, may have practiced their own forms of consciousness expansion. Through rituals, meditation, and symbols, they sought altered states to connect with the spiritual or otherworldly realms. For the Egyptians, the concept of the ka represented the soul's ability to exist outside the physical form, while the Mayans used ceremonies to reach heightened awareness, seeking guidance or insight from beyond. These practices mirror what modern consciousness exploration seeks to achieve, showing a shared understanding across time that reality is multi-layered and that human consciousness has the potential to access and even influence those layers. By looking at these ancient approaches, we see that the human desire to reach beyond physical limitations is an age-old pursuit, connecting the past with the present in our search to unlock the full potential of awareness. Reaching the kind of consciousness expansion that Monroe explored isn't something that happens overnight. It requires patience, commitment, and a willingness to practice regularly, much like advanced forms of meditation. Monroe's Hemi-Sync technology provides a path, but it's the consistency in using it that opens the door to deeper experiences. Just like a skill that needs refinement, the journey into expanded states is gradual, and those who are dedicated often find that each session takes them a bit further, helping them gain more control and understanding over their experiences. Today, Hemi-Sync has found practical applications for many, allowing them to harness its benefits in their daily lives. A well-known example is actor Michael York, who has openly shared his experience using Hemi-Sync to manage stress and increase his mental clarity. York credited Hemi-Sync for helping him handle the demands of his career, noting that it provided him with a renewed focus and creativity. Likewise, there are countless individuals, from artists and writers to CEOs, who have turned to Hemi-Sync not only for stress reduction, but also to explore new creative avenues and push past mental blocks. This technology has been used as a tool for personal growth, helping people unlock parts of their minds they never realized were accessible, making it an invaluable resource for both relaxation and self-discovery. If you're curious about the possibilities of consciousness, now might be the time to consider exploring these states yourself. There's a vast world within each of us waiting to be uncovered, and as Monroe's work shows, we all have the capacity to reach beyond the ordinary. Whether you're looking to reduce stress, tap into a hidden reserve of creativity, or simply understand your own mind better, the journey into expanded awareness holds endless potential.